It's always important to admit when you've got something wrong. And I can remember back after 9/11 being in support of, at that point, the Bush doctrine to invade Afghanistan and to replace the Taliban. In retrospect, I think that was completely wrong. I was completely wrong. We should have stayed the hell out of Afghanistan. But you live and learn. And as I say, no one gets everything 100% right. So comes the news this morning that President Biden announces troops will leave Afghanistan by September 11th. And obviously that date was specifically chosen for the emotional overtones. It's time to end America's longest war. I completely agree. And here we have then in sort of lockstep, the UK announces that it's going to withdraw its troops in Afghanistan as well. So this is obviously synchronized. And I was interested in this report over on the good old BBC, if I can bring it up for you. Here we go. This is the BBC, so spoiler alert, it's not going to be balanced. Afghanistan, we have won the war. America has lost, says Taliban. Nice to see the BBC giving the usual impartial coverage. And here's the two reporters, Sekunder Kermani and Mahfouz Zubibi. And here we go, a happy picture of the Taliban. They look so happy, don't they? They're a cheery bunch of people, for sure. So on balance, I think this is good news. Getting the hell out of there is pretty important. I mean, let's remember that from a British point of view, since the beginning of the operation in the autumn of 2001, 456 people have lost their lives, British forces personnel, including MOD civilians in Afghanistan. That's a tremendous sacrifice and loss of British life. And basically, it's interesting to also observe that the majority of those fatalities took place since the deployment of British forces in the Taliban stronghold of Helmand province. Because prior to the first 4 or 5 years, there was only 5 people killed. But once they went into Helmand, which is kind of core Taliban, that's when the fatalities started. And it's kind of sad that those lives have been lost. And I pay absolute respect to our British armed forces and for all that they do. But you can't help thinking it was a complete waste, because we didn't bring democracy to Afghanistan because Afghanistan isn't interested in democracy. We didn't defeat the Taliban because the Taliban, as we've just seen from the BBC, are boasting that they've won. Where, mission was not accomplished. But I'm not sure really that the mission could ever have been accomplished. And the moral of the story is we should stay absolutely away from these cesspits around the world, where the notion that a Jeffersonian democracy can be installed is honestly completely lunatic. But strangely, I noticed some on the right criticizing Biden for this, and I think they're wrong. I think Biden should, or whoever is making the decisions for Biden, should be congratulated on actually managing to get one thing right. Get the troops out of Afghanistan. Save American lives, save British lives, save NATO lives. Just let them out. If the Taliban get up to activities that we find threatening, then there's ways that can be dealt with. I'm sure there's sufficient weaponry that can fall from on high, that can, blow these people to eternity and back if they were to threaten us. But in the meantime, I think we leave Afghanistan to rot in its own juices, its own intolerance, its own medievalism, or actually dark ages would be probably more appropriate. That's where Afghanistan was. That's where Afghanistan is. That's where Afghanistan always will be. It's not worth one American or British life. I wonder if you agree with me in this one. I know some people did support, as I was one of them, actions, but over the years, I've come to realize how misguided I was. And of course, we were all caught up in the emotion of the terrorist attack on 9/11 back in 2001. But as as sort of time clears the emotional smoke, we then start to see things more clearly. And the message for me is stay out of these places. If they dare interfere with us, we sort them out remotely. We can find ways to do that. But honestly, let's get all our soldiers home and keep them safe, because let Helmand rest in hell. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch up with you folks real soon.